Senator Julia Kirt is one of the newbies, District 30. Yes, Stephanie, you have to leave. You will make a big deal out of it.
Sorry, in the runoff.
Senator Julia Kirt is District 30. She is, like I said, also one of the newbies. And she and I kind of go way back from OVAC days when I was reporting and anchoring, and I would call you up about Oklahoma Visual Arts Coalition and recipient of the Governor's Arts Award. Now, back on that side of the aisle, what was your grade then for last session and productivity and successes?
Thank you. Glad to be here. As a brand new member, I by no means intend to grade my colleagues. That's what you know right away, is how much you don't know. And everyone told us that, but the experience of it is quite an experience to try to make the informed decisions and learn about all the areas that we need to learn about. So the things that I would grade well would be collegiality. I was really, really pleased with getting to know people. All my Senate colleagues, I'm surprised how little I see the House. It's actually kind of amazing that we're in the same building sometimes with how little we see each other if we're not in leadership. But just built great relationships with senators, especially my freshman group. There's 12 of us. We got together a lot, and what a pleasure. I anticipated that the veteran senators would be maybe standoffish or would not be inclusive, but they were just wonderful about including us, and I'm so glad. Another thing that's great is fairness. Our pro tem is very fair. He has a great relationship with our minority caucus leader, Kay Floyd, who is a very well-respected leader in the Capitol, who is a no-nonsense, get-the-work-done kind of leader. And it's such a pleasure to be in her caucus because she's always trying to figure out how we can improve lives of Oklahomans, and that's her first priority, and you see it at every step. And she and the pro tem have a long-term good relationship. And so that's real apparent in the way that the rules are applied and the way we're communicated with, and that's wonderful. There's 9 Senate Democrats out of 48. So that's a wonderful thing. The other great thing is thank you to the previous legislators for passing increased revenues, because we entered this session with some positive decisions to make, and the economy has improved, but we know that the majority of the revenues that came in this year beyond expectations were because of the taxes that were passed last year. Huge difference in terms of making good priorities for our state. So I really appreciate that. A few missed opportunities. One of the biggest missed opportunities to me is mental health. I think we have great information and data that shows us how important mental health is for every other aspect of our state, and how investments in mental health and substance abuse treatment can impact families, trauma, education, reducing incarceration, etc. So I would like to see more emphasis on that. And there's several areas that I just became aware that really are how we're wasting money is by not preventing problems. So, for instance, I served on the waiting list caucus with Leader Eccles. Families are waiting for help to serve their kids who have developmental disabilities, or their adults who have developmental disabilities. If they don't get that help, they end up putting them in a nursing home or having to find full-time care, which costs us a lot more. So those are the kinds of things I started to see through the budget process was, how do we get over the hurdle of preventing some of the crisis that we're responding to financially? One other challenge, I was surprised at our conversations at times about local control. With all my municipal friends in the House, I'd love to hear more from you about this, but I think sometimes the state is taking control where we shouldn't, where we should let municipalities take the lead. And there were several specific issues on that if you want to talk in detail. I will grade myself on the session, which I'm going to give myself a solid C. I think as a freshman to get a C is not too bad, frankly. I read almost every bill, which there's thousands. I showed up to every meeting. Someone said, "You're always here," and I said, "Well, that's the least I could do, right?" I think Senator Treat made fun of me about that. But the basic thing as a freshman is that how do I get there and learn everything I can while I'm there? And I certainly did that. There's so many things procedurally to learn when you start the year not even knowing where your office is. So I anticipate knowing more, and I really appreciate the collegiality of others to help us come along. The one thing I do want to add is it was wonderful to be a part of a legislature that was more harmonious. I can't even imagine. I've seen the scars on others from the last couple of years. At the same time, I want to remind everybody that we need critical conversations to make the best decisions, and we can't be harmonious about everything. to find the best solutions. And so I know, because people are kind of scarred from that, they're fearful sometimes of hard questions or hard discussions. And I just think that's an incredibly important part of public policy making. You know, we need it in our families, we need it to be adults to deal with the critical decisions. So I know that's not fun, but I want us to continue to look for the hard truths and things as we go. So
Thank you, Senator. I'm sorry, time.
Thank
You
you.
have to move along.